I could say that my mom and dad, they never paid attention to me in the way that I felt I would deserve, so I declared war against the world.
Everything's shining. I can't say this is gonna happen for everybody that's clean.
Things that I didn't want to do, I had to do.
I can't believe we're here right now doing this. This is a big thing, man.
And so that's my biggest motivation right now, is just like seeing what I can do, like while being sober.
Or if I got to do whatever I got to do, like my life's got to change, like right now, you know.
My name is Jason Hunter. I'm from San Diego, California, and this is my story.
All right, where'd you grow up?
I mean, I grew up all over, but mostly Oceanside.
Yeah. What was your childhood like growing up?
My childhood was wild. My mom was a heroin addict, and I was kind of thrown in. I had no dad, first off. I mean, I had 100 dads, obviously, but temporary ones, you know. Learned a little from each one, but mostly my childhood, I got thrown right into being the man of the house, you know. I just remember being like 12 years old, telling grown men, hey, bro, you got to go. She's asleep, you know. And like a lot of times they didn't want to leave, you know. So I don't know. I just felt like I got thrown into that role real early.
So your mom has substance abuse, or she did have substance abuse problems when you were growing up?
Oh, absolutely. There was a lot of drugs in our house. You know, my mom did heroin, and she did, back then drugs were a little different. There was like speed, but they called it crank, and you stayed up all night. And my mom was an artist and a dancer, so there was always chicks at my house doing their dance routines and shit. I was literally, all of us kids were an intrusion to her lifestyle. She had us really young. And I feel at one point in my life, I was the same age as my mom. It felt like, you know, she, her lifestyle mixed with mine when I got a little bit older. And there was a time where we kind of ran together a little bit.
Yeah. Well, what was like your earlier days like going to school and stuff like that? I mean, were you always kind of like into the chaos of life, or?
No, I had a few moments where I was a normal citizen. When I was like, I'd say 5 or 6, my mom flew us out to see my dad, and he never showed. And I didn't see my mom for 3.5 years. She left us out there in Illinois with my grandma. And I feel like during that time, I had a normal childhood. I went to a regular school, and you know, I walked to school with my sister, and I just remember like doing regular stuff. And I always wonder what my life would have been like had I stayed there, even though it wasn't a good environment. Grandma was an alcoholic, and grandpa was a fucking political nut, and they had Paul Harvey on the radio all day long, and they fucking drank. And but you know, her son went to college, and he was a football player for IBU. And I mean, I probably would have followed those footsteps, you know, been in football. And that's all we did with sports as kids over there.
So is there like a moment in your childhood when like you kind of like realize like that it's not normal, or that your mom is doing stuff that probably, you know, other parents aren't doing?
Oh, definitely. So those years in Illinois, growing up as a kid, not, you know, one day my mom just showed up and snatched us up. And she was like, your grandma wouldn't let me talk to you. And I think grandma knew that she was a fucking wreck and just wouldn't let her come get us, you know. And she came one day, hey, it's me. She had this big ass wig and these glasses on. And I, you know, I had a grudge against her. I was hot. You know, I'm a mama's boy. At some point, I felt like she abandoned me, you know. And that's a trauma I had to work on later when I did my steps and everything. But at the time, I was like, oh, I don't know. She's like, it's me, you know. And we ended up leaving with her that day instead of getting to school. And the second I got back to, she brought us to Las Vegas. That's where she was staying. I hated it immediately. You know, we were in the ghetto, and we were in the Bahama apartments. Anytime you have an apartment named Bahamas and there's no fucking palm trees, it's ghetto. Should have known. That was the first. That was the beginning of the end, if you could say that.
And what age did you start using?
Oh shit, man. I'm gonna say I was smoking weed and stuff, 12, 13, 14. Like I said, at 12 years old, I mean, shit, even at 9 and 10, I was stealing shit from the store from my mom. She would fill a card up and say, they're not gonna mess with you. They're a kid. If they say anything, just act scared and just say you're out looking for your mom, And then we did. I'd fill that card up to the top with all the good shit. She used to say, it's free. We're getting the good brands, fucking Oscar Mayer, And I would fill that thing up and we would push it outside and she would be so proud of me. And, oh, you did it, son. You fed us, you're taking care of us. And like, looking back, that's so fucked up to do to a kid, But at the time, it was just like doing my part, That's how my mom looked at it. We used to steal shit from the gift shops in Vegas. I would steal all the gold chains and then we would sell them at the gas station. Hey, this guy ran off with my mom's money and we have no way to get back to California. Can you help us? I don't know if it's real or it's not, but and they'd give us 10, 20 bucks, whatever. I'd hustle all day. I'd keep 40 for me and give her 20, But yeah, I mean, that's how I was fucking growing up, School was like, what? I think I went to school in a probation van, literally.
So what was your drug of choice?
It was weed at first, I sold weed my whole life since I could walk and talk. And my mom told me how to sell it. She would give me all her scraps and she would double roll them and she would fill a Marlboro cigarette pack up for me. She would say, sell these at school, dollar hollers, she would call them. And she said, always, my mom was a G though. She always said, let a girl hold your weed and then they're always in on something. You never have nothing on you and they'll never tell on you and they won't steal it because they feel like a boss. And that's been my MO since then, I'd always let her hold the cigarette. Hey, babe, hook him up one of those, And at 14, 15, if you had weed, you were invited to anything and everything. You all ditch day, class day, party day, desert day, whatever it was, you were in because you always had the weed, So I learned that early.
What age was the first time that you got locked up?
Oh shit, I was locked up 14, 15. I went and did when I was 15, I did a fucking 18-month term out in the middle of nowhere in Nevada called Elko, Nevada. And it was for auto theft and a bunch of just stuff charges, And they fly you out there in this plane in the middle of nowhere. And right when I got there was these two big dudes, the Andersons, Mr. Anderson, him and his brother, he would bench like 500 pounds. And the day I got there, he grabbed me by my fucking nose and almost picked me up. And he said, if you start any shit, I'll break that fucking nose. This is my place. And you can run if you want. There's nowhere to run. There's no water. There's no buildings. You came in by plane. You run, you die. But you're welcome to leave. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. I was like, where am I? That was my first taste of the wilderness. Needless to say, I don't like the woods. Even today, I'm like, what's out there? I don't like the woods, dog. I'm a city boy.
What are some traumatic events in your life? Growing up, and then also like in your addiction. I mean, because I know you probably got plenty of stories.
Well, one of the first traumatic events that ever happened, I was, I think 15. I got stabbed by my sister's boyfriend, and I got my arm was paralyzed. And I went to the hospital, and they said when it heals up, we'll have to rehab it and everything. But like I said, mom was a drug addict. We were on the run and on the roll and moving to place, and we never went back. I never got taken back to the hospital, and I was been paralyzed since then with that arm until recently. I got it fixed, but that's a whole nother story. But that was a major trauma for me. I was angry as a kid, aggressive as fuck. I had one arm missing. I was mad at everybody and everything. I felt cheated already, and that anger, it motivated me to just say fuck everything, fuck school, fuck everybody, fuck anybody. And my mom would always say, fuck everybody, it's just us, But there's that.
So you guys did so wrong.
Yeah, a lot of traumas though. I think most drug addicts have traumas, and not your typical ones like, getting jumped or fucking, almost dying in a fucking overdose and all that. Those are little traumas that we live, but prison was a major trauma for me. Actually, my first sponsor, Brandon Glade, he said, you got to work steps on prison, bro. he's a convict too, you know, and he said that's a traumatic shit. There's a lot of shit that you pushed inside and did that you weren't meant to do, and you lived a way you weren't meant to live. And because you got through it doesn't mean it didn't affect you. It's as traumatic as being abandoned by your parents or fucking whatever. You just don't know it yet, you know? So I worked steps on it and I healed a lot. Prison was a trip, man. But I was a convict even then, you know. All my mom's boyfriends were kind of like I am, you know, just a convict, just like, hey, hustle off the land, fuck the cops, whatever, get money. And but a lot of trauma, a lot of traumatic things happened to me through my years of addiction, and just a lot of letdown moments. But prison was a huge one. And I always share about prison when I'm sharing, because I know there's convicts in there. I can see them here and there, you know. And not everyone did prison like me, you know. I'm from I believe a different time, a different era. And as tough as I thought I was, that first day in prison, man, that was a traumatic day. I'll never forget. I hit that fence in my fucking orange jumpsuit and my pillowcase and all these fucking bodies, big as fuck too. And all these bodies came hitting the fence, wanting to see who's in that line. Hey, homeboy, hey, what's up, Chuck? I see you. Everyone know. And I was like, what the fuck, you know? And then this big ass Wood, he locked eyes with me, said, hey, what's up, Wood? Where you from? And I was like, it was a defining moment for me, because that's how I decided how I was going to carry myself in there. And I stuck my little chest out and I said, fuck that. Nobody's going to tell me shit, you know? I stuck my chest down. I said, from Oathside. And just like that, I was in. He's like, oh, San Diego's deep on the yard. You guys are good. What cell you going to? I'm going to send you a little something. And I'll show you how we live. I was like, all right. I'll never forget that. He said, I'm going to show you how we live. And ever since that day, man, I didn't realize it, but I had raised my hand for everything. Anything going down in there, I was in on it, you know? Because I was a kid, you know? And that's what they do. They use us up in there. And you either thrive or you die, you know? And I thrived. Prison was wild for me. And it fucked me up. I got out of prison and I was like, what can anybody do to me now? What consequence could you possibly give me? And so I just ran the streets with that mentality, you know, like nobody, what can you do? I've already suffered the worst consequence you can get and lived through it and thrived through it, you know? And that cost me a lot, caused me a lot of pain, man, that fucking mentality. But back to where you're at.
Is there like a defining moment, like being locked up, where you're like just evaluating your life and just wondering what the fuck you're doing?
Oh yeah, I had a bunch of those, man. I got beat up one time real bad in a riot, and they fucking, I had my shit smashed. A bunch of homies were in that one that we know that are clean today. The rest everyone's all dead, but it was a big one. It was on the news and shit. And I got my jaw busted up and my nose busted up, and they pepper sprayed us all. And there were so many of us, they just zip tied us and left us in the fucking grass for hours, you know? And I was just laying there, and then they took me and put me in a phone booth, and I was in there, and I just remember being so fucking enraged that this could happen to somebody in the world, like forced to live like this and be this way because I fucking do drugs or whatever. I just remember that moment thinking, oh, fucking hate everything so much. Like, how could this happen to me? And I was a victim at the same time. There's just a fucking predatory rager at it. You know, I wanted to kill anything and everybody. And I carried that feeling, man, that lonely feeling, because there's nowhere to go. That's the thing about prison. You got nowhere to run, bro, ever. And so it's like, damn, you feel real trapped. That's the true meaning of trapped right there. Hating where you're at so bad and being all fucked up and hurt and having no one to turn to and nowhere to go and having to deal with it. It's like,
And at the same time, being almost comfortably with it.
super almost comfortable, you know? And it's like, friendships are fleeting in prison. Those are your friends, but fuck you. And like I said, I worked a lot of traumas, you know? I did some horrible shit in prison, I ain't gonna lie. And like at the time, I was taught to be proud of those things, you know? But like, those are the things that stopped me from jumping out of an airplane today. You know, when you fucking make friends with someone and you've been in the same cell with them for 4 or 5 months, it don't seem like a long time, but when you're with each other every day, you get to know each other. They tell you about their kids or their family. And then you get that kite under the door that says, this fool has to leave in a fucking ambulance, 100%. And then you hear these motherfuckers just telling you to listen, brother, listen. And then knowing the whole time that anything they say isn't gonna matter, because you gotta do what you gotta do. And man, those are the things that fucking make me think that I got karma coming and I'm going to lose all this shit because of those things. You know, that's why I won't jump out of a plane. I'm like, I'm not even yet.
For sure. I mean, me myself too. I have those same experiences, and you know, we're forced to do a lot of fucked up shit that even in the moment we don't even believe in, or you know,
Absolutely.
and it's either them or us, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's a lot of that stuff we don't believe it. We don't believe in it, but it's what the movement is, and that's where we're at, you know. And like always say, everything I learned and had to do to survive in there went against everything I needed to be and do to live out here. It was rough, man. Rough transition. They say, "Oh, your head's always in the bars," and I'm like, "Hey, rehab, this and that." Oh, fuck that. Rehab's full of a bunch of brats. You know. And meanwhile, I had nothing. Like all that power and all that strength. In the end, I was just rolling around on a fucking bicycle, stealing batteries for a shot. And that is a fucking huge wake-up call. I had to see myself for what I really became in the end. Yeah. So there's that.
I mean, I know you, so I mean, there was once a time where you enjoyed the chaos.
Oh yeah, it was our lifestyle. Even on the streets. And I felt like I was a good person. Like, oh yeah, if you beat your old lady up, we're gonna come and touch you up. The homies are gonna, I was raised like that. Like, oh, we're gonna fucking touch you up and then get you, you know, still get high with you, but you're gonna get dealt with, you know. If you're in this house shooting dope and you ain't got putting no food in here for these fucking kids, you're getting that, your shit's getting jacked, homie, you know. And we rolled around like that. I was raised, you know, taxing for the cooks and the connects, you know. If the connects didn't pay the cooks sent us over there, you know. And if the fucking dope heads didn't pay the connects, then the connects sent us over there. And we always had some free dope, and we were just wild. There's a little group of us, and most of us are dead. You know, there's a bunch of us that you know that we're still here, and we're all like, we've all changed our lives. That's the only reason we're alive, you know, honestly. But that chaos is great. It was the only thing we could feel something, you know. And we had a purpose then. That's what I learned in recovery too. Is I never had a purpose except for that, and so I thrived at it. I lived it until I didn't have. I always say I used to think I was fearless, but what I realized when I got clean is that I was never fearless. I just always had nothing to lose. That's a good way to see it. Yeah.
Is there like an age or a time like where you just know that you're an addict?
I don't think it mattered. I would go, you know what? I never even heard about fucking recovery until they had this program in prison that came in. It was called SAP. And if you went to SAP, you're getting your ass dealt with, you know? Fuck that shit. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit. But then we found out that we could get tobacco and cigarettes, and fucking the counselors would smuggle shit, and it was mandatory all white boys sign up for SAP. But like, I never even heard about recovery until then. I was just like, what is this, you know? Oh, meetings and everything. And then, you know, you get in and out, you start going in and out, and they grew so fast, the recovery movement, that you had to know about things here and there. You had to hear it. And then you ended up in a meeting somewhere. And those meetings made me cringe. I would sit in the back and I would just hear people share about, oh, how they lost all this and all that. And I thought, fuck, if I had half of that, I wouldn't even be here. You know, I had no idea what recovery was. It was such an odd concept to me, you know, getting clean and sharing about what you went through, and in a way that wasn't like bragging or something, you know. It was like, I just couldn't wrap my head around it.
I think too, a part of it for like people like us is that like you said, like, you know, I grew up around, you know, that same generation, you know. You're a little bit older, but I grew up around that. And it's like we're taught to believe that, almost like for us, it's like almost like a PC move in our head. You know what I mean? Like, you know, sharing our stories, or, you know, putting it out there like, hey, I grew up this way with my mom like this. In our head, it's almost like we're ratting or something.
Yeah, or just like this admittance of some kind of defeat. Like even when I got my first sponsor, I was like, they kept saying, oh, you got to get a sponsor, you got a sponsor. So I picked a guy that's just like me, you know, tattoos. I felt like and when it came time to tell him the truth, I couldn't tell him that I was stealing batteries for a shot. I always told it just enough to make me look like I had some kind of trouble, but that I still had some control over everything, you know? And if you can't be honest about your injury, how the fuck are you going to heal it, you know? And that's what I learned later. But in the beginning, I was so immature in recovery. I was just like, yeah, this and that, you know? But I never told the truth.
Still driven off of ego.
yeah, ego and pride. You know, it's funny because that was the motivating factor my entire life. Even when I fucking finally was done, I'd been beat up, I'd been in and out of prison my whole fucking life. And my friend Judy came to see me in the jail, and I was like, she's like, hey, I heard you were in here, man. I was like, damn, what are you doing? She's like, oh yeah, I'm running drug court now and everything. You know, I was just like, she's like, you want to come to this program? And I was like, fuck, man, I don't do programs because I never succeed at them. And then you get there, they tell you, oh yeah, you can't have a phone for 30 days. I'm like, bitch, I'm a grown man. I don't need you. I don't even have a phone. It's the principle of it all. But anyways, so I took a chance. Even then, I was just like done. I had already just screwed up my life. I didn't want to go back to jail ever again. I was so sick of everything. I was literally homeless.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Like the end of your last run and what that looked like? Because
Bro, it was devastating to me. Like, to take where I'd been from and all the things that how I saw myself. Like I still saw myself as that guy, homie, I'll fucking come and get with you and I'll do this. And if you do that wrong, you're getting taxed, and we still got morals, and we're still rolling around with a sack of dope and a fucking stolen car, and we got money and we got some business. Hell no. Those days were fucking gone. I shoot dope, I could have $1 billion. And I shoot some dope and I fucking do the same thing every time. I get paranoid, I'm slinking around. I might even run from a fight if I get, you know, you corner me, you might get it. But short of that, I'm gone. Oh, they got beef with me. I had nothing left inside, and it was brutal. And I was hearing voices. The dope nowadays, it did something to me, man. I think it started in Missouri. I went to Missouri to try to get clean, you know, and they got this shit out there called scratch. And ever since then, I've been hearing voices, like not now, but then. And I was thinking dogs were coming to kill me and get me, and I couldn't go around the homies because I was hearing voices like, and I remember the first time I knew that I was like, thought I was crazy and I just wanted to die was I was on the trolley and I was sitting there by myself, and the voices kept saying fucked up shit. And I just blurted out into the silence, one more word and I'll kill somebody, and you know that I'll do it. And that makes you the fucking killer. And everybody just went, got the fuck away from me. And I came out of it, looked around, I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking crazy. I'm a crazy person. I got off at the next stop and just was crying. I was like, dude, what? And I just kept going farther and farther from the neighborhood, you know? I would put a towel over my head and just disappear because I couldn't stop fucking hearing voices. I'm thinking dogs were gonna kill me, you know? I would, at 2 a.m, I'd be in Encinitas hanging onto a street light with all of my strength, thinking the dogs were coming any second, until my fucking hands would just fucking let go and I would drop and hit the ground, and then I would snap out of it and I'd be like, fuck, I gotta get out of here. I'd scoop my little shit up and cut, you know? It was tragic, man. And I'll tell you right now, man.
hey, thank God though, right?
I was in jail and I was still hearing voices. I was like, I've been clean, I haven't used for 9 days. I still fucking hearing voices. I got really nervous then because I'd always thought myself as a strong will, you know, mental. And then one day they just stopped and I was like, dude, I'm not gonna use again. Fuck that. I can't believe it, man. And like, I'll tell you, man, to sum it all up in a nutshell, anyone that knows, there's nothing lonelier, and I mean nothing lonelier than a fucking ex-convict stepping off the curb at 2 a.m. with $20 in his pocket and a half gram and nowhere to go, having to put something together one more fucking time. And I've been that dude every fucking day of my life almost. And I don't know, it just shows you the power of recovery because I'm not that dude no more. You know, I'm the exact opposite, just as powerful. If that makes sense, you know. If you take that loneliest fucking moment, I'm the fucking reversed, happiest, fullest moment living through recovery. You know. Oh, did it fall? Sorry, man. You'll edit some of this, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Except for what's on the YouTube, so everyone's getting see and hear us.
It's all good. None of this is scripted, bro. It's all raw, you know?
Yeah, it's just two homeboys talking.
Two homies talking and just hoping to help someone else, man. Hoping that somebody realizes that, hey, man, I'm not the only one. You know, when I first go to meetings, people would share about what was happening to them and I wouldn't listen to one word. I had no empathy for anyone else. I would compare what they're going through to what I just went through and completely ignore what they were saying. I didn't care about any of it, you know? I was always about me, you know? Didn't realize that either. I was like, oh, I'm not that selfish. I'm not selfish. I'll share with you. I'm not selfish. But I realized that I was selfish. Internally, everything was about me and what I'm getting, where I'm going, what I'm losing, and what I want. And like, it's not like that today. And that's a miracle in itself. I think a lot of us can relate to that, you know? Like suddenly it wasn't that way with me. I was like, damn, when did that happen or how? But that's where that's where it was at.
What are you doing today to make a difference in your life? I mean, I know you're a father.
But yeah, I was just gonna say,
I want to talk a little bit about that experience and the courtroom and everything.
yeah, you know, the thing about recovery is that I don't know. I feel like as long as you stay clean, and like there's a saying that says "easy does it," and I never understood that. Easy does it, and I was like, "Fuck, man, what does that even mean?" But you know how living the program, some of these slogans come true, and you get them. Easy does it. It means you can't fucking get your job back and fucking restore all your relationships and get your size back and fucking get everything unhurt, everyone you hurt all in one day. You just can't do it. Otherwise, you know, it's not a realistic goal. But I found like all of God's gifts are time released in recovery. Just when you're ready to have it. If I had 10% of what I have now, I would have never been able to handle it. I wasn't emotionally ready and mature enough for it. And like one of the biggest gifts in recovery is having us being a dad. And I've never put anyone first unconsciously, I should say, until then. That child is in my mind. I can close my eyes and smell his hair. I can hear his laugh. I can see his body language. I could spot him walking in a crowd of 1,000 people instantly. And you know what I'm talking about. There's something, and I'm afraid to die. I'm afraid to get hurt. I'm afraid to hurt anybody. I don't want anything to happen because then I won't be able to protect him and be there for him. And I never had that. He has 2 parents who love him and work hard and support him and encourage him. And fucking we do football with him, everything. All of our time is literally devoted to him, you know? And that is the hugest gift. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I know you know what I'm talking about. And your son's about that age where he starts wearing his hats the way he wants to and shit. Little things, you know, I don't want that jacket. I want this jacket. Like, oh, like those moments are just, they're just incredible. And they keep me clean. Not 100%, but they keep me wanting this, wanting to work a program, wanting to be involved with stuff and wanting to be a better person constantly. And a lot of people don't get to have a kid, or they lost their kids and they don't get them back. But the thing is like, what I've learned in recovery is that nothing is impossible. You know, I was sure no one would even hire me. I never had a job until I was in my fucking 36 years old. And my first job was what? A tow truck driver. Hey, I think we've all been down that path. But, you know, as a result of staying clean and fucking doing what's right, I was also a supervisor for North County Transit District. And I had an actual cop car driving around working with law enforcement if somebody died on the tracks or OD'd in the bathroom or got assaulted or the place got vandalized. And I was also a hazmat inspector for the Navy. I walked billion-dollar ships and oversaw safety issues and fucking construction issues and, you know, chemical issues on billion-dollar jobs. And I could shut all that shit down. You know, I was a hazmat inspector. Now I work for myself. I have my own business, you know. And like the things that you never think you'll do, you can do with recovery. And it may not be what you thought you'd do. I didn't think I'd be doing this. I thought literally, I'm going to be working construction the rest of my life. Fuck, not that there's anything wrong with construction. It's just, I didn't like it. I didn't like fucking getting nails and fucking splinters in my fingers and fucking bent over with a fucking hammer with my one arm trying to swing it. I did it, but I just told myself that this is what I was limited to. And listen, everything in your past, anything you did, you can't go back and undo 100%. Nothing you did is changeable. Nothing that's been done to you is changeable. It's already happened. Only thing you can change is how you feel about it and what you do about it. And listen, your past does not exclude you from living a life and having a life that others get to live. A lot of people think that in the beginning. Oh, everything I have is luck. Everything I fucking have could be taken away. Someone breaks into my car, that's what I get. I broke into 100 cars. Bullshit. It's coincidence. It's, you know, somebody does you wrong today, shame on them. It's not what you get for what you've been. You're not that dude anymore. And like literally everything you do you deserve. Everything you get, you deserve. You can have anything. And as long as you believe that, you will get it. But if you don't deserve it, then what's the point of getting clean? Why are we here? If I don't deserve a better life, then what the fuck's the point of trying? And like, I've smashed everything I believed in since I've been clean, or the system has, you know? Everything is different. Everything I said I would never do or couldn't do has been done. I was never gonna get up there and share with two guys slapping ass, having fun, and giving someone a chip and just saying fucking right on and being genuine about it. That was never gonna be me. I sat in the back with my slingshot and I fucking wondered what those people were doing. I just wasn't into that. But you know what? I've done that 100 times today. And there's so many things that I've done that I never thought I could do or wanted to do. That's the thing. I didn't know how to be a part of any of that. And recovery is a huge family. You'll meet your best friends there, your family, your everything, your life. Yeah, your life. You can start and do anything in recovery. It doesn't look like it in the beginning, but that's the thing, you know. I got my own business today. And at one point I needed someone to go to the DMV with me to get my driver's license in case something came up and the cops came while I was there, you know, when they ran my name or something. Like, that's where I was at. I really had no fucking living skills, no fucking nothing, you know? I went from a caveman, straight up drug doping caveman with no experience and no desire to fucking, I used to say, who wants to live this life sober? What's the point? And I get it. I know I don't want to live that life. I couldn't live that life sober, but this life is so much different. And that's what I kept forgetting. It's like, this gets better, and it does. I have value and purpose. God works for us, through us. Amen. You know, and he gives us value and purpose that way. If you get cancer or somebody gets ran over or your mom fucking died, any of that, you know, I hated God. What kind of God lets people rot in prison because they fucking used men? Like, all this shit. I had so much fucking hate in my heart over it. And despite all that, I found a God, and I know he's real, you know? And it's like, God doesn't stop that. That's tragedy. How God helps us is he puts people in our lives to get us through those moments. And he puts people in our lives to get us through those moments and them. And we somehow, by doing that, have value and purpose. And you might have one day clean. You might hear 100 people share and not hear one thing. And then that person with one day shares, and suddenly you're compelled, like fucking compelled to go up to that person after the meeting and say, hey man, really, it might be awkward, it might be, you know, but for whatever reason, that person opened a bridge to communicate, to get clean with. And that's how God works. One addict helping another through recovery. This is his program. It's divine and everything. I know people don't like the word God and everything else, but like, if you think about it that way, and most people believe in God, I don't care what they say. God, please don't let me die. Please don't let me get fucking, please let the connect be there. Please don't let the cops get me. We always pray to something greater than us constantly, mostly selfish prayers. And when we're answered, we never give God any credit. You know, God, don't let me go to jail. Oh, and you don't go to jail. Do you fucking thank God? Hell no. You go, that's why they can't fuck with me. These cops say, shit, oh boy, woo. We never give any credit to God. We never do. And like, God's been with us this whole time, you know, and it doesn't have to be, it could be any God you want, you know, but I think we all know that God is real, and what we need to do with that love, you know, we need to spread it just like it's given to us. We need to give it to others, and that's how it works. That's how God works. We're literally, he works for us, and we work for each other, and at least in recovery, you know, that's been my experience.
I'm gonna share something that, I mean, I've known you a long time, you know, and me and you hit it off right away, but you know, when I first opened up, you were able to give a car to someone who needed a car. And I mean, that right there is God in your life, God in his life. And that's not something like that's not something built in us from our old mentality. You know what I mean? Like, we used to be takers, you know? And like, that's a prime example of like God working in your life and recovery working in your life.
Yeah, I think I started a trend. Everybody's giving away cars these days, and none of us have shit. You know, I mean, we're living better than most, but we ain't fucking. It seems like to me, like the rich people, they don't give nothing. But I don't blame them for it. They don't understand how it feels to be able to help someone when you've been helped. You know, and it does. It shows you a full 360. Like I said, man, I ain't giving no car. Anything could happen. I might need that car, but faith, trust in a higher power, trust in the program, and knowing when to be of service. And like my wife preaches service. She's of service. She has sponsees. She has all she's involved in everything. And me, not so much with sponsees and everything, but I will say everybody calls me, hey man, this happened. What do I do with this? So it's not official, but it's still, I love to share what I know and get people through stuff. But part of the way that I've become able to be of service is to hook people up. You know, if I get a car and it's worth $5,000 and you got 35, you might just get it, you know? And that makes me feel good. And it makes me feel useful. And it makes me feel like I'm doing something. No, there's nothing better than getting clean and fucking getting something that makes you want to stay clean instead of a fucking bucket where the fucking, you got to tape the window up and shit. And it starts sometimes, you know, like nobody wants to get clean like that. It's very difficult. We're very fragile, emotional people, you know, fuck this car, blam, I'm going to use. And then right when you're ready to do that, here comes some chick in a miniskirt. Hey, do you got a lighter? God damn it. You know, it's just how it works. But if you can help somebody fucking combat that, that's true. You're laughing because you know it's true, bro. The fucking devil's waiting to send one. You know, my boyfriend ain't shit. He won't even fuck me. You're like, I gotta relapse. I gotta. But like, honestly, the thing is like, you get to a place where you're trusting that it's gonna work out no matter what. As long as I stay clean, it's gonna work out no matter what. Whether you chuck this car to someone or you give someone a ride to a meeting with no gas. You be of service any way you can. And there's so many different ways to be of service in recovery, whether it's just talking to someone or sponsoring someone or fucking having a place for them to fucking live and get clean. There's so many gifts that we all have and things that we all do together. And otherwise it would be too big of a lift for any one organization, any one person. And it's not designed to be anyone. It's designed to be everyone. And we all put in when we can and what we can. And that's the true meaning of service. And that's why it's selfless. So you really don't get anything out of it physically, but it's better than a shot and it lasts twice as long. You know, helping someone that needs it and then have them 2 years later run back into you, bro, still driving that shit, man. Thank you. Man, I needed that so bad. What a great time. That just feels a certain way that you can't really reproduce any other way, and there's no real way to explain it, you know? And it just is because it's genuine, you know? And I guess that's why we do it, you know, it's just to do what we can.
We killed it. That's good. What's a message that you have for maybe someone struggling or even the younger generation?
Nothing is as it seems right now. I have had moments where I felt like I saw things clearly and then responded a certain way because of what I thought I saw or felt. And then later looked back and went, God, I was way off. You know, there's a term for it. They call it, I forgot how it goes, contempt prior to investigation, whatever. I wouldn't go and try to get a job because they're not going to hire me anyway. And why would I invest in something that's not going to work? You know, what's the point? And like, why get clean if I'm not going to have, that's the message right there. Why get clean if your life isn't going to get better? And everybody's telling you it will, and it does, and it has. Because the second you quit using, you're already in a better place. You might not feel it because your head wants you to fucking get wild and get crazy and have a reason to say fuck it. And it could be something so tiny as not having your phone. I can't even have a phone in rehab. Fuck that. I'm a grown man. Whatever your head tells you, there's like a little fucking demon watching everything I do, waiting for a chance to help me make a decision and influence me to do something wrong or act like something is overwhelming. And that's why we need each other in recovery. Hey man, here's where I'm at. I got to get over here and I don't have a ride and I'm tired of asking people. And my head tells me, you know what? I'm not going to ask anyone for a ride because first off, no one wants to be told no. Oh man, I finally get the courage up to ask somebody something. That's why I didn't get a sponsor in the beginning either. Fear of rejection, bro. Nobody's going to reject you. And if they do, it's because they just can't do it. But they'll turn you on to someone that can, right? If you say, man, can you be my sponsor? And they tell you no, it's like, oh, how would that feel? I don't ever want to know. I don't want to risk it, you know, at the beginning. we're very emotional. And that's the thing. That's why we take suggestions, because people have been through that and they know where you're at and they know what you're feeling. And just remember, anything that you want to do in sobriety, you can do. Your past does not fucking stop you from getting what you want. And God has a plan, and it sometimes is different than ours. You know, how many times have you not gotten this and because of that met this person, and if you wouldn't have met this person, you never would be where you are today. And I guarantee everyone in this room has one of those. It's because we have an idea of what we want, but we don't know what we want because we haven't lived any life. We've been this life. People over here is a little bit different. Just follow them, go to meetings, do everything you've been told. Get a fucking sponsor, get a commitment, whether it's greeting people at the door. I have had every commitment you can imagine in recovery. I got almost 9 years. I've been the coffee guy. I've been the door greeter. I've been the secretary for years. I went to every meeting. I went to all the dances. Like, I go tell an ex-convict we're going to an NA dance. Come on, dog. But I went and I had a blast. And that's where I met my wife. And like anything that you think you know, you don't. And that's okay. You don't have to know everything. That's a defense mechanism. If I don't know what color that fucking shit is going to be when I mix it, I ain't mixing no paint. We want to know everything to protect ourselves. We want to reduce the harm from the gate. We don't want to risk anything and take any chances. But in recovery, you don't have to do that. No one's out to get you. Think of recovery as remember those movies where they let all the prisoners go and they say, run to that tree line. If you make it, you get to live, you know? And then they get their best archers out. They fucking, and the motherfuckers are running for their lives, you know? And the archers are, whoo, and arrows, shoo, shoo, shoo. I feel like recovery is that tree line, you know? And guess what? Everyone that's made it to that tree line, they're not here to fuck you over. When you get there, what do? They grab you. You made it. They pull that arrow out of your ass and they fucking start healing you up and they start showing you how to live, not a prisoner. They start showing you where the well is and where the village is. And you might meet someone in that village. And that's the best analogy I can think of for recovery. No one's out here to get you. Not everyone's perfect and pure, but they're in different stages of recovery. But the majority of people, they want to help you. They want to help you because somebody helped them. And that's powerful. And that literally, it goes back to how God works. Value and purpose. And all we wanted was value. In the joint, I was valued because I'll go anywhere and do anything to anyone because that's how I lived. I was trying to be that dude. Hey, who put that on your neck? Homeboy, where'd you get that 1904? Oh, hey, Fresno. Where you from? What you doing down this way? You know, like I was just in everybody's shit. So that's how I was raised. And like, I don't know, if I could just give anyone the best advice I could give you is just fucking find people that you like and put yourself out there. You know, when you wanted to get high and you weren't sure if that dude was using, but you were pretty sure, and you fucking rolled up on him and said, hey man, you know where I can get any shit? He'd be like, well, I don't fucking use that. But you put yourself out there because you had to. Listen, man, put yourself out there. You have to. You have to, man, if you want to live. And you can have everything we have. I'd see guys roll up to meetings with their Harleys and I'd be like, fuck, daddy's money, something. I don't know what I thought, but I immediately separated myself from them because I didn't have anything that they had. And that's my disease, trying to make me different, trying to make my story worse than yours, trying to make my suffering worse than yours. That's what we want. We want to keep ourselves out so that we don't have to do anything and we're not responsible. I used to say this, before recovery, I lived my life thinking I was a fucking survivor of every shitty hand that I'd been dealt. But then when I got clean, I realized I had dealt all of them. And that's a freedom, knowing that you have a choice. I used to think, I don't have no choice. I'm a victim of everything. I have no say in anything. And when I realized that I did, well, maybe I can make better decisions. And maybe I could get better and change. And that's all I wanted, was to be better. And everyone was nice and dressed nice. And my first day, and all that shit that happened to me in recovery, I mean, in prison and everything, and Judy Johnson coming to me and saying, we think we can get you into this program. After all that yes, I want to change my life. The first day I got out and went to my sober living from fucking jail, nobody fucking rolled up on me and said, hey, what's up, fool? Hey, how you doing? Oh, where you from? Where'd you come? None of that. And I was butt sore about it. And nobody even offered me a fucking toothbrush. I just got out of jail. My clothes looked like the Incredible Hulk after he changed in. My shorts all tight. Everything was all tight. And my shirt was ill. Fucking because I was sucked up when I went in. And I fucking went to Walmart and filled a duffel bag full of fucking socks, boxers, shirts, everything I need. Fucking wireless speaker, a couple of bullshit ass fucking cologne, all this shit. And I walked right the fuck out because that's where my head was. That was the priority, to look and feel like I hadn't been beaten by the world, you know? And I bumped all that shit on the bed. And then, oh, now you motherfuckers want to come say hi. Damn, bro, where'd you get all? And I said, oh, the homegirls hooked me up. I straight lied, bro. I stole that shit from Walmart because that's my image was more important than my freedom that I had just got. And that's where I started my recovery at, in that spot. And like today, I'm nothing like that. And that's the power of recovery, bro. It's changed me. It'll change you too.
I could say that my mom and dad, they never paid attention to me in the way that I felt I would deserve, so I declared war against the world.
Everything's shining. I can't say this is gonna happen for everybody that's clean.
Things that I didn't want to do, I had to do.
I can't believe we're here right now doing this. This is a big thing, man.
And so that's my biggest motivation right now, is just like seeing what I can do, like while being sober.
Or if I got to do whatever I got to do, like my life's got to change like right now, you know?